I don't often write stuff down, so I'm not gonna like do a systematic. Oh, I write this down and I do it. No, it's not really like that. I have an image in my head of where I'd like to be, right? Last year it was, or the year before it was, I want to have my own property. I just had the image, and along the way, so let's say the image is all the way up there, like the green pastures are there, and I'm starting from there. As I travel along, I pick up skills along the way, and I'm very intentional about picking up, like doing pit stops and learning, taking that away, continuing on my journey, learning, taking that away, continuing on my journey, right? That's the main thing that I do or implement in order to make sure that I'm achieving my goals, right? Having a picture and then being intentional about learning, about being educated in order to actually make that journey. It's like, you wouldn't make a drive from London all the way to, Scotland without doing pit stops along, fueling your car, fueling your body, getting food. I believe it's the same way. Like, it's just that these pit stops are areas of knowledge transfer.
Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Sofa. I am Rachel Onikosi and I'm glad to be here with Dr. I've got to get it right. I promised I would. Dr. Ayilaran.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Perfectly.
Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Yes, very well, thank you. It's been a busy day, but I'm very well. I'm going to hand over to you to ask you about who you are and the various things that you do.
So, my name is, my full name is Ade Ayilaran, and yes, I'm a doctor. My main profession is that I work in the semiconductor tech industry as a senior innovation developer. So that's doing R&D, research support, and collaborations with all these various businesses within the space. And I also tutor and mentor in my free time as part of my business, which is tiny but growing.
Fantastic. I'm going to start with your doctor title. Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you.
For the viewers who don't know how to obtain a doctor title, if you're not a doctor, medical doctor, tell me how you went about obtaining that. What did you have to do?
Right, so I basically passed through the academic, climbed the academic ladder. So bachelor's degree, then master's degree, and straight into a PhD, which stands for doctorate, doctor of philosophy.
That's
to
right.
be exact.
Yeah.
And it was a case of I guess the question would be, how do you make that transition between masters and PhD? It's really about a lot of it's to do with connections. So especially in the STEM field, which is like science, tech, economics, maths, a lot of it's to do with your supervisor who taught you for your masters knows a guy who's looking for a capable person to hire for this industrial research. It's academic research, but with a lot of industrial influences. And then you sort of go for an interview and you then begin a 3 to 4 year tenure at a university. Could also be a company as well as a researcher.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know how to go about obtaining a PhD. A lot of them don't appreciate that you are a researcher, you do have a supervisor, and often you kind of, like you say, connections, but you touch, but sometimes you even touch base with a supervisor before you even make the application. You want to make sure it's a good fit. So I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been in the UK most of your life.
Yeah, I was born here. Yeah.
Born in the UK most of your life. I haven't come across many doctors in my lifetime in the UK from the Black community. No, I think that's a lie. I've come across many who are older than me, but not many who are younger than me. So it was nice to be sitting with you. It's a privilege, actually. Tell me then, what's your view on the importance of academia, especially amongst the Black community?
So I think with us, there's a historic thing where like we're looked on as like hard workers, like hard graft, like manual labor sort of thing. And I think it falls in line with the fact that we've never been given, or we've we've never been privy to a lot of options, because manual labor, is just sort of beast of burden, as bad as that historic fact sounds, right? I think having academic success gives you these options, right? It allows you to go one way and another way. In a world where a lot of people, they're very limited in the ways they can move and where they can move to, right? And a lot of that is down to a lack of knowledge. Knowledge is power, and a lot of knowledge comes from being somewhat educated. And I also believe that academic success is important because it's a badge. It's an achievement that no one can take away from you, right? You can go for a job, you can be in a job and you can get sacked. Fair enough, they can take that away from you, but no one can ever take away your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, your diploma, whatever it may be. So I think as part of your identity, it's very important to have academic success.
Yeah, you've clearly driven your own success in terms of the academic world. Do you think? Am I right in saying that?
I mean, no one ever really does it alone, do they? You've always got various influences and various stewards who stand ahead of you, guiding you. So, yes, I was driven personally, but I did also have people beside me just, motivating me.
Yeah, I guess, and I agree with that. But you made the application.
Yes. Okay.
You went through the interview. You put together whatever you had, the requirements you had to meet in order to do that. And I guess I'm saying that even if the guidance wasn't there, to me, you come across as somebody who might have embarked on that journey anyway. But I could be wrong.
I would say yeah-ish. Let me just modify that a little bit, because to people who have asked, I actually didn't embark on the PhD just on my lonesome, right? Okay. It was basically, I had just about handed in my master's summer dissertation, right? And I was on the phone to my mum, and we were just having a little chat, because I was in York at the time. I was doing my master's at the University of York, right? We were having a little chat, and she was like, "Oh, what do you want to do next?" And I was fully ready to just be a normal average guy, get a normal job,
What's a normal average guy? Who is that person?
I mean, like that. I mean, back then when I was like 23, when I was 23, we have different perceptions of what normality is. You look outside, nothing's really normal, is it?
Yeah.
But I had the impression that on normal, the life which was portrayed to me by this society as a normal, just get a job and marry in your mid-20s and then get a house eventually, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I told her something along those lines. I've applied to a couple of jobs. So I felt like my mom was rubbing her hands through the phone, right? And like she had already planned out what she wanted for me, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, especially when you have parents that are really invested in your success, right? I think that's powerful. But I just felt like I had been away from home for so long. I had worked so hard for so long, like living on the wire. Like I was poor, in York, paying rent, paying bills, all of this. I just wanted to just chill. So she said, I knew what she wanted. So in anger, I just slammed down the phone. And that was my little show of defiance. But the very next day, I went to my supervisor, like, okay, you need to get me into contact with someone who can sponsor me for a PhD. I like physics. Well, I like plasma physics. So, is there anyone in the plasma physics space who is looking for someone like me? And then that's how I then started the journey of my doctorate.
So your mum is to take the credit then, actually, isn't it?
She is, you're right. I owe a lot to my mum, to be honest. I'll never be silent about that. So, I owe a lot to her.
Good. Have I asked you the question, do you think individuals have a responsibility to drive their own success, whether academically or professionally?
Yes, with the caveat that, again, no one does it alone. So those standing in front of the person, so like parents, for example, parents or even brothers, sisters, uncles, they do also have a responsibility to inspire as well, or to guide. I mean, that's... It's in our culture that age is like the badge of age is like the badge of respect. Like the older you are, the more respect you have. We
Mm.
kind of got it backwards. The older you are, the wiser you are meant to be, and you're meant to impart that wisdom onto the people coming after you, right? So I think it's also the responsibility of the people above us to also, um, help us forward. Although, if we want to talk about it very logically, like there's no organism on this planet that doesn't know what it needs to do in order to survive and thrive, right? Even a bacteria knows, okay, I need this nutrition, I need to be in these certain cell conditions, and I need to multiply this amount of times in order to create a colony and then expand and whatever. To animals, human beings are no different. Just because we've managed to form complex societies doesn't mean that we don't have the personal agency to survive and thrive. So it's also a personal responsibility
Yes.
to move forward and get academic or professional success as well.
I totally agree with that. So my next question is going to be: do you think there are systemic hurdles in place in the UK which prevents people, especially from the African Caribbean community, embarking on a successful academic or professional journey?
So I was actually having a conversation similar to that over this weekend, and systemically there may be a couple of things in place. I'm the kind of person, I like the power of personal agency, because when you put the agency in another entity to change, they can change it according to their own narrative, right? So let's say like we as Black Africans, we're on the bottom and we need the people at top to change their ways. They can just sprinkle some crumbs if it benefits them.
Yeah.
And we're still on the back foot. Like that doesn't actually change anything in the long run, right? If we have personal agency to accept the fact that we have some responsibility in the way we are, number one, so that's acceptance. Number two, we now have a clear vision and a clear path to where we need to where we need to go to, right? And that is a lot more powerful than expecting other entities to change. But systemically, I think a big part of the issue is this: we have a soft, what's it called, affirmative action thing going on, which I think is kind of damaging. I say that because a lot of us kind of suffer or have suffered from imposter syndrome, right? Where we get to a position of comfort or success, right? Then we feel that we're not meant to be there. It's not coincidental that we feel that way. Sometimes we feel that way because this company or this institution just wanted to fill their quota. So if we're talented, even if we don't acknowledge it, if we're talented and we deserve to be there, yet we don't think that we are, right? How do we pass on that inspiration to the next generation who are coming after us if we don't believe that we're meant to be there? So how are they meant to believe that they're supposed to be there?
Yeah.
I think that's a problem. That kind of affirmative action going on. Like you'll walk into a finance department, you'll see like 10 Caucasians, maybe 3 or 5 Asians, and then one African or one Caribbean, and that is damaging. I think that's systemic. I think that is damaging.
Yeah.
Right. But a lot of it is to do with like what we've adopted in our culture as well.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily systemic. That's just something that we need to deal with, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, I can tell you about some of my experiences. So the things that I do in the corporate world are pretty much kind of non-exec level. So I'm normally the only Black woman, normally the youngest, normally the one who almost shouldn't be there. Not imposter syndrome, but to the other board members or non-execs, it's like, well, no, I'm 65, I'm 70. She shouldn't be, we're not, they consider me not being on the same level. But actually, when you look at my CV and compare it with theirs, I've got more work experience than
your CV is stacked,
Yeah. So, but I know friends of mine or associates and colleagues of mine will tell me how difficult they find it to progress up the ladder in the corporate world. And often they would obviously quote racism, they will quote, not being able to pass the performance, annual performance, etc. And one thing I can say is that in the corporate world, for you to be in a leadership position, you have to have an element of aggression. And I'm not even talking bad aggression, but you need to be very, very direct, very, very on it, very, very organised, very, very strategic in what you're saying and how you do it to get to a certain place. So, as a black man now, in the work that you currently do as a title doctor, do you find there are things that you see or experience that almost try to emasculate you?
No.
No.
Because I'm an aggressive person, so
Okay.
I don't allow that to happen. In my first corporate role, immediately after I became a doctor, I'm learning. I was learning at the time, right? I was working for a startup in Angel, and the director was really like, he was one of those men who's got a couple of small businesses, thinks he knows everything, and he did or said some things that made me feel very small, right, or emasculated. However, as I passed through that experience, I gained experience, and then in my current job where I'm a senior level individual, I feel like I can command a whole lot of people in the company, as well as when I say things, I don't need to tread softly with the way I say things. Like, I tend to say them very directly. And if I know that there's a point to what I'm saying, why should I feel scared about how it may be taken on board? You're right. You do need to have an element of aggression, and you do need to have an element of directness when you operate in a company. That's the only way you're gonna
absolutely
reach higher.
Some other black men I speak to talk about the fact that because they feel emasculated in the corporate world, because they know that black people in general have the label of aggression, they therefore don't want to be aggressive. Do you think actually there was a responsibility on them to work out how to adjust their own behaviour in the workplace to really get to the top of their game?
At this point, I think yes, the responsibility is on them, because the alternative is to continually be in a position of submission. I mean, if that's what you want, then if that's what you're gonna get. But if you want to get elsewhere, then you really do need to adopt a more aggressive stance. Like I've got this saying, right? Life is a dark forest where beasts must kill to live.
Okay.
In such a place, it is sometimes better to be a beast than a man. That's not meant to be like some dark. I actually got it from some book that I read ages ago.
No.
But it's actually it basically illustrates or it's kind of metaphor in the way you sometimes have to act in certain places. There's no point being all civil. We are civil, but there's no point being as tippy-toey and as civil as possible just so that you can get along. If you want something done, you really need to just go for the neck or go for the head and really just get it done. And that involves not being so submissive. That involves being very proactive rather than reactive or passive. And I think a lot of us need to adopt this idea that we need to be a lot more proactive in the way we do.
I totally agree. And, there's the saying, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And people seem to think that's really negative and selfish. But actually, I don't. I think it's just a term which kind of describes you doing what you need to do to get where you need to get to, as long as you don't violate anybody else. Because if not, someone else is going to come and get you, eat you or get the cake. What do you think about that saying?
Dog-eat-dog world. Whatever you do, show respect, regardless. So you can be the one who's the go-getter, and you're overtaking, you're overcoming whoever else is in front of you. But that doesn't mean you need to disrespect the person. I think with whatever you do, show respect and treat other human beings like you would want to be treated.
Do what you want to do, but don't violate everybody else's rights as a human being. Absolutely. Right, so we've been speaking about academia, being in the corporate world, high performing, leadership, being direct, moving up the corporate ladder. In my mind, the whole reason we do that is also to secure not only a place in society, but also financial freedom
Mhm.
or a good financial situation. What do you think is more important? Academic achievement or financial freedom?
Okay, so originally I would have said straight up financial freedom, because
Yeah.
financial when you don't have to worry about money or how to get money, you've got a lot of room to maneuver in what you want to do. So if you want to like sit down and learn, if you want to start up a business, whatever you want to do, you can do that. However, lacking knowledge or lacking the appropriate education to manage finances or to manage whatever money you have, it's gonna go like that. So I would say academic success would be at the top of my list.
Yeah.
Because with academic success, you can learn things in order to better handle whatever life throws at you. Or like if you win the lottery, and you're very intelligent or you're educated, you're not gonna blow that money within a year. You're gonna have a strategy in order to divide that money and make sure that it keeps compounding or it pays you or whatever. So anyway, long story short, I think academic.
Yeah, I agree. And the lottery is a good example of people winning millions and in 5 or 6 years' time they're broke.
Mhm.
Or another example are drug dealers who make loads of money, maybe set up a few food shops or chicken shops and barbers. Before you know it, their business are in liquidation and they're broke.
Most of them are still hiding their money in like
maybe
shoeboxes.
maybe
like
some
that,
some of them, yes. But I think you're saying you have the academia in you, have that kind of mindset,
Right.
to be able to work out finances, know what you need to do, seek advice or guidance for investments, and generate income for it to multiply. That's what you're saying, isn't it? Brilliant. I'm going to move on to your mentorship program. I know you have an academy. What's it called?
Ayilaran Academy.
Okay. And how long has that been in situ for?
Just over a year. So it's still pretty much in its infancy.
Yeah. But I have seen on social media you actually mentoring somebody.
Yes.
I've seen physical videos. Talk to me about some of these mentees you have.
So, as I've always been working, I've always also been tutoring and mentoring in my spare time. It's my passion. It's my main passion, right? Being able to have that knowledge transfer from myself to another person and opening their ways, giving them more options or opportunities that gratifies me in life. I think that's my primary calling. And I've been doing this since 2014.
Okay.
I was actually inspired by my PhD supervisor at the time, and he was this blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Oxfordshire man.
Sounds like Boris Johnson.
No, this guy was a lot more eloquent than.
Oh really? Good.
So like he reminded me of the old days of those skilled orators and those gentlemen in the townhouses and whatnot.
Yeah.
He basically taught me everything he knew with regarding to being able to leverage your knowledge and leverage your experience to a positive net effect. So that's how I was inspired. So anyway, what I used to do is that in the evenings or in the weekends, I would have clients basically say, "Oh, can you teach my daughter? Can you teach my son?" And I would also put an aspect of mentoring in it, because I can't just teach you. I can't just teach you maths or teach you physics or chemistry and then tell you to go. If I've got you in a room, or if I've got you like in a space for like 1 hour, 2 hours, how many hours? Sometimes it'll be 3-hour sessions if we're really tackling something particularly difficult. If I've got you for that length of time, then I feel that it's my responsibility to like be a sort of parent and say, okay, this is how to approach this. Even though we're going through questions, the fact that there's an element of strategy to answering such a question, and that strategy can be leveraged to other things in life, like doing taxes or how to make more money, how to, I don't know, whatever it is you want to do, right? What we learn in the classroom can always be leveraged outside to a great effect. And that's what I've been doing since 2014, and it was only last year that I actually formed a limited company to actually take it a bit more seriously and grow it from there.
Fantastic. So give me some testimonies from your mentoring.
Right. So he's on my page.
Yes.
Can't show his face for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So it was this Chinese kid, like really rich family.
Yeah.
His dad owns 2 towers in Hong Kong or
I'm
something
sure that was
crazy.
good for you. For your
Yeah.
pocket.
So like it was really good for my pocket.
Yeah.
And I had him from when he was 13 all the way to when he was 16.
Wow.
So I saw him through his key stage 4 all the way to the end of his GCSEs. And he actually got into Dulwich College.
Fantastic.
And it was me who helped him and his mum, because like his mum, you know, Chinese, doesn't speak too great English. Him, you know, he's still a kid. It was me helping them write the cover letters or the personal statements, and basically I taught him everything that I know or I knew about physics and just how to interact, because he also had anxiety, right?
Right.
So he struggled to socialize in his he went to this prep school where like the Beckham kids went to. I can't remember what it's called, but the Beckham kids went there as well.
Right, okay.
So he always found it difficult to socialize, and he would always ask me, "Oh, Ade, how do you talk to people? Like, what did you do when you were in secondary school?"
Yes, yeah.
And because, you know, like I'm in charge of you, so I would basically put, you know, I'll give him some games.
Skills.
I'll give him some social skills, and you know, by the time he came out, this guy was. The way he spoke was different. The way he thought was different. He wasn't climbing up the walls. He wasn't taking his ADHD tablets anymore. The guy was calm, and he's in Dulwich College, right? He's Dulwich College right now, basically being as successful as he can be. I think that's my main testimony. But of course, I've taught other people who have gone on to good unis, done medicine, done astrophysics, done like there's been a lot.
That's amazing. What's next for your academy in terms of the growth of it?
Okay, so of course, you know, this last year has been a very strange year, you know, with COVID, and this year was still. I had a lot of personal things get in the way, but the plan is to expand the business as mainly an online platform, right?
Yeah.
So the point of Ayilaran Academy is not just to teach STEM. Is also to mentor and also have other people come on the platform to share their knowledge. It could be in anything from like I've at the beginning of last year, I sought investment advice and financial education. If you don't mind me like dropping his name, his company is called Jack's Financial.
Jack's Financial, yes.
Jack's Financial, and I attribute a lot of my wealth right now to him, because you know, just having a different mindset of how to use money and how to make money work for you. And I believe that that's very important as education as well. So things like that, things from law, economics, even nursing, some of these other vocational skills. Ayilaran Academy is meant to be a hub where people can come in and pick up skills, be empowered, and go out and be great. Right.
Fantastic.
So there's going to be a website coming soon. There's going to be a blog page coming soon, and obviously the YouTube channel is going to have a regular upload schedule once again.
Hopefully, yes, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, it will happen. Of course,
It
I
will
mean
happen.
that. Yes.
Currently, right now, I've just got a solid clientele who I'm tutoring and mentoring at the moment.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
What do you do to ensure a clear strategy for your life? You know, socially, professionally, whatever. What is it? What tools do you embark on?
Right. So I'm kind of I don't often write stuff down, so I'm not gonna like do a systematic. Oh, I write this down and I do it. No, it's not really like that. I have an image in my head of where I'd like to be. Right. Last year it was, or the year before it was, you know, I want to have my own property. I just had the image, and along the way, so let's say the image is all the way up there, like the green pastures are there, and I'm starting from there. As I travel along, I pick up skills along the way, and I'm very intentional about picking up, like doing pit stops and learning, taking that away, continuing on my journey, learning, taking that away, continuing on my journey, right? That's the main thing that I do or implement in order to make sure that I'm achieving my goals, right? Having a picture and then being intentional about learning, about being educated in order to actually make that journey. It's like, you know, you wouldn't make a drive from London all the way to I don't know, Scotland without doing pit stops along, you know, fueling your car, fueling your body, you know, getting food. I believe it's the same way. Like, it's just that these pit stops are areas of knowledge transfer.
Absolutely.
Secondly, and this one is a bit more subjective, so to speak, and that is it's a cultural thing between me and my family, most especially my mother, right? Back when I was in uni, my mum always used to tell me, never forget whose son you are, and never forget where you come from.
I've heard that too many times.
And like when we're younger, we don't really understand what the hell they're talking about, but the older we get, the wiser we get, we understand the power of their words. And it came to a point where like my surname is something powerful, right? The relationship I have with my mom is something powerful. I am obligated to be great, right? And so I work my way inevitably towards that greatness.
Absolutely.
So there's a sort of cultural, spiritual
I'm loving this
aspect
interview.
there.
You just sound like me 10, 15 years ago when I'm talking to friends saying, come on, try. You can't just want to go on a journey and not, like if you're going to, you're travelling, you get a sat there, you put the coat, you know where you're going. So why isn't your life the same? But what I've found, and you might find it similar, is that sometimes people have gone through traumatic experiences, or there are things in them, so lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence, lack of self-awareness, lack of emotional intelligence, which means that they just don't have the wherewithal to get things together. So that's been my kind of personal experience, and my journey it has not finished yet. I'm embarking on so many different things, something I wouldn't even say, because for people that are not visionaries like me, they will just think I'm insane. It's like my goals are so big and great. Do you find that you have people around you, could be friends or associates, that sometimes feel a little bit uncomfortable about when you speak with so much certainty, with like opulence and abundance, and you're so sure about where you're going and what you're doing? Talk to me about that.
Our parents will tell us where we are going, and that's loosely translated to your identity, where you're coming from will let you know in which direction to travel in, right? So my mum has always helped me to form my identity. From young, my mum was buying me all these science books that probably a lot of people couldn't even read today, but as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, I was, when I could have been playing games or playing with toys, I was reading them. And she didn't force me to read them. She saw that I had a natural curiosity, and I asked a whole lot of questions that she couldn't answer. So she did the responsible thing and just bought me some books. Have at it, right? And today I am a doctor of physics, right? My identity is that I'm not only a plasma physicist, which is what my actual expertise is in. Although I'm a physicist, plasma physics is my top expertise. I'm also a tutor, and I'm also, I'm also a researcher and developer. So I have multiple identities, but someone without an identity will not know where they're meant to be going, or how to contain, or how to collect themselves, or what they need to do next, right? And someone without identity will be fooled into thinking that, oh, you're not meant to be sure of where you need to go. You're not meant to have a plan. You're not meant to, have a plan and follow it. I reject that. It's good, and it is honorable to be able to form a plan and follow it. It's very powerful, and I've had so many instances where like I've been speaking to someone and like they've railed against me because it's like I come across as a sort of dictator. No, you should do this, you should do that, or no.
You're just giving them good advice.
You're
giving the same advice you would give to one of your children. That sort of thing. Who inspires you?
So
anybody in the world.
So you've heard me talk about her a whole bunch of times. My mum. I'm first generation, so she obviously came from Nigeria and had to really struggle here. Started off with 2 jobs, one in Burger King, one in McDonald's. Literally the most. Anyway, but she was also doing a voluntary job in an old people's home, and eventually she leveraged all of this to where she is now, where she's a head midwife in a hospital in central London.
Fantastic.
And she's been able to like build a property portfolio for herself, acquire property here. It's crazy what she has done. So I've always looked at her as my primary inspiration. My second inspiration would be the not only my supervisor who supervised me for my PhD, but also my physics teacher in college. His name was Mr. David Tattersall. And he was just a normal guy who did his physics degree in Leicester University and just liked physics. So when he taught physics at college, he taught it with such passion. When I went into the college, I didn't know that I wanted to be a physicist. I just thought, you know what, let me just do sciences and, you know, English literature and just see where I go. But his lessons helped me form what I am today, which is a physicist. The love of physics, the passion of physics, and the amount of options that you have when being a physicist. Last but not least, my year 6 teacher, Mr. Titus Mills, who I'm still in contact with
Titus
today.
Mills, okay.
And he was the only teacher in my primary school who never suspended me. I used to get suspended every year, like in primary school.
Were you suspension worthy? Were you doing something to mean you should be
Not
suspended?
really. I was just a kid, who I lived away from everyone else, so I didn't have much. I didn't have anyone my age to chill with when I was at home. So like, obviously, when I got into class, didn't always know how to react to certain things.
Right.
Then I just would get suspended, and it was just
Okay. Well, shout out to Mr. Titus Mills.
Yes.
What school was it?
St. Mark's Catholic Primary School. So it's in Kennington Oval. Okay.
You haven't mentioned your dad. Is there a reason?
He's never been in my life, so unfortunately.
It's interesting because, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but a lot of the kind of the broken home black families. Somewhere maybe dad was never around in the first place, or split up or passed away, or whatever it might have been. They talk about the fact that because dad wasn't around, that's why the young boy gets involved in crime or this and that. But listening to everything you've done, everything you've achieved, your dad has never been around. But look at where you are today. So
to be fair, although I pretty much missed out on 50% of parenting. Because it is true, like when the dad is not around or the mum is not around, you miss out on 50% of parenting. Like people need to deep that, right? However, I was lucky in the fact that I had my grandma and I had my elders as well. Like I had 2 elders, and they used to like basically pick me up.
Brothers?
No, like my siblings, my actual siblings were in Nigeria until I was 11, so they came pretty late on. It does have an impact, But if there are alternatives in place, we shouldn't really be talking like that. Alternatives, but if there are alternatives in place, then they can help alleviate the fact that a dad is not there. So I've been blessed that I was able to have a bit of that.
Well done for doing all what you do without having your dad in your life. So question, really to help the viewers. What words of inspiration would you give people who really want to, one, maybe get a PhD, become a doctor in philosophy, or just really achieve their vision or move up the corporate ladder? Any of the things that you've been talking today, what would be like your one word or your phrase to help you succeed?
With respect, specifically to a PhD, you must remember that a PhD is a passion project. Okay. One of the things my supervisor asked me when he was interviewing me was, what do I do when faced with frustration, when faced with brick walls? And he wanted to know what kind of metal I had, what my personality was, because when there's a brick wall, do you crumble or do you like manifest a hammer and break down that brick wall? Like he wanted to find out. And it's only your passion and your dedication that can overcome those brick walls. That's the only advice I would give regarding PhD. Do not do a PhD just because someone advises you to. You must have passion in that particular topic or subject to carry you forward, because there are some dark times. In regards to success in anything, you need to always be thirsty for knowledge. There are so many fountains of knowledge, so many fonts of knowledge, and it is arrogance that will make someone not seek those out. A lot of people, they walk around and they're happy not knowing, or they're happy being uninformed, or they're happy doing what they feel is right, rather than seceding or submitting to another person. There's no loss of power in submission. When you ask someone for help, people need to realize you are submitting to them. Because now you've given another person power to direct you or to lead you in however small it is. You're giving another person power to direct you.
Yeah.
But when they direct you, you're stronger because of it. So my advice is to always seek out places of knowledge. Learn and leverage that knowledge. Knowledge is currency, okay?
Yeah.
You use it to pay for the good things in life. I live good. The people around me are living good. And it's because we're all knowledgeable.
I love that one. Knowledge is currency. That's a really, really good one. I'm going to take that with me. Right, so my very last question is, how can people learn more about you? What are your social media handles,
So, my main social media handle is Ayilaran Academy, all one word, on Instagram.
Yeah.
There is also the YouTube channel, which is Ayilaran Academy, 2 words, on YouTube. And those are the 2 main socials at the moment.
Yeah.
However, there is a website coming which will combine everything into one place and make it easier for people to just get to know more about not me but the company as a whole and what it's meant to be doing. And there'll be a lot of material and a lot of videos and just blog posts and.
Brilliant. Well, fantastic, and good luck on that journey.
Thank you very much.
If everyone want to come back and speak to us about how that's going,
Yeah.
I'm sure by that time on the circle will be obviously up and gearing and going. So
Yes.
we'll be more than happy to speak to you again. Haven't quite finished yet. Just some personality questions now. Right. So the first one is, you're late for a big client meeting, and you know it wouldn't look good if you walk in late.
Yeah.
Do you miss the meeting saying you're sick, casually walk in like you're early, attend the meeting but pretend you've got a bad leg, or make a big excuse about a road traffic accident on the way to the meeting?
The latter.
The latter?
I would have to lie.
You will lie?
I would have to lie. I'm
Why
sorry.
would you have to lie?
Because like being late is it's not very respectful, to be honest.
Yeah. Is lying more respectful? Because you know you like they know, but you know.
No, but they don't know though.
But you know, heart, you know. Is that more respectful?
Well,
to yourself?
Ignorance is bliss. So they're cool.
Okay, well I accept it. Second question now. You found yourself in financial difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
You see somebody drop a bundle of money on the floor, about 3 to 4 grand. By the time you pick up the money, the person's gone. Do you give the money to the local police force, leave the money with a nearby shop in case the person returns to collect the money, keep it as it's probably a gift from the universe to you, or share it between some local youths hanging around the shop?
And I'm in financial difficulty.
You are.
And it's a dog world, yeah.
I'm
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go with option number 3.
Yeah, keep the money. It's a gift from the universe to you.
Yeah.
That's possible. Last one now is shower or bath?
Shower.
Cinema or Netflix?
Netflix.
Uber or black cab if you need to take that kind of mode of transport?
Uber.
Boris Johnson or Keir Starmer?
Boris Johnson.
Okay. Are you a Conservative or Labour?
Neither. I don't.
Okay.
I don't do partisan politics.
Okay. Gym or jog?
It's gonna have to be gym at the moment. Yeah.
In terms of popcorn, sugar or salt?
Sugar.
And do you prefer to read or listen to music?
Read.
Fantastic. Well, that's the end of the interview, and thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it, and let's keep on talking.